Apartment, night. The room is dim, the air thick with tension. The once loving home now feels like a prison, walls closing in with every bitter word spoken. YN7 sits on the cold wooden floor, her tiny hands resting on her lap, her blank eyes staring ahead, seeing nothing, yet feeling everything. Her small frame is stiff, bracing for the storm she knows is coming. Across the room, her adopted mother, once warm and kind, now glares at her with frustration. Her arms are crossed, her lips curled in disgust. Beside her, her adopted father, exhausted and resentful, downs another sip of alcohol, his patience wearing thin. Adopted mother. Mrs. Lee, scoffing, voice sharp, look at her. Just sitting there like a useless doll. She can't even see what a mess she's made. Adopted father. Mr. Lee, smirking bitterly, a mess. She is the mess. We should have never taken her in. YN flinches slightly but remains silent. Silence is safer. Words don't save her. Mrs. Lee scoffs, it was all fine when she was normal. When she could see. She was a sweet little girl then. Now she's nothing but a burden. Her words slice through the air like knives. YN presses her small hands against the fabric of her dress, gripping it tightly to stop herself from trembling. Mr. Lee, bitterly, we should have given her back the moment she lost her sight. Mrs. Lee, but no, we felt responsible. We thought we loved her. She lets out a humorless laugh. Mrs. Lee, voice rising, but what kind of love is this? Tending to a child who can't do anything for herself. A child who will always need help, who will always be, she stops herself, but the word lingers between them. A burden. YN bites her lip, her chest tightening. Mr. Lee, scoffing, we wasted all those years for what? To be stuck with this. She can't even pour herself a glass of water without knocking something over. He slams his glass down on the table, making YN flinch again. They never hit her outright, but their words do far worse. Mrs. Lee, do you know how embarrassing it is, taking care of a blind child? People used to praise us for adopting her. Now, they just pity us. Us, not her. She glares at YN as if she's expecting a response. But YN gives nothing. She just sits there, blind eyes staring past them, seeing nothing yet knowing everything. Mr. Lee, angrily, say something. Anything. Damn it, can you even understand what we're saying? Did you become deaf or what? Mrs. Lee, she doesn't speak because she knows it's true. She knows she's a mistake. That's why her parents threw away her. After 14 years. Kitchen, evening. YN 21 stands by the stove, her hands moving expertly as she stirs a pot of soup. The soft boiling sound fills the air, and the familiar scent of spices wraps around her. She doesn't need sight to cook. She's learned. She's spent years memorizing every ingredient, every movement because she refuses to be a burden. Behind her, Hannah 18 watches with a smirk. Hannah, snickering, you really think this makes a difference, YN? No matter what you do, they still wish you never existed. YN ignores her, stirring the soup calmly. She won't react. She knows Hannah wants a reaction. But Hannah isn't done. She glances at the flour jar on the counter. Her smirk widens. Hannah, fake sweetness, oh no. YN, be careful. With a deliberate shove, Hannah knocks the jar of flour onto the floor. The loud crash echoes, the white powder exploding everywhere. Hannah gasps dramatically. Hannah, yelling, Mom, Dad. YN made a mess again. YN's hands tighten around the spoon. She knows what's coming. Loud footsteps approach. Mr. Lee and Mrs. Lee storm into the kitchen, their faces already twisted in anger. Their eyes land on the mess, the shattered jar, the spilled flour, the scattered ingredients. And then, their cold, sharp gazes turn to YN. Mrs. Lee, furious, are you kidding me, YN? Again. Hannah, innocent, I tried to help her, Mom, but she threw the jar telling me to get lost from here. Their parent scoffs, stepping forward. Mr. Lee, disgusted, useless. Completely useless. You can't even stand in the kitchen without ruining everything. At least she asked if she will help, but you. Showing attitude. He suddenly grabs YN's wrist tight. Pain shoots up her arm, but she stays silent. She knows if she cries, it'll only get worse. Mrs. Lee, do you know how much money we've wasted on you? How much patience we've wasted? And for what? A blind, useless girl who can't do a single thing right. Hannah bites back a satisfied smirk. YN's breathing remains steady. She's heard this before. She's felt this before. But tonight, there's something different. Tonight, something inside her shifts. YN, I am sorry, Mom. Mr. Lee, you think cooking makes you useful? Look at this mess. You'll never be enough, YN. Never. With that, he shoves her back. YN stumbles, her hands finding the counter just in time to steady herself. Mrs. Lee, keep your sorry to yourself. Clean it up, and don't expect dinner tonight. You don't deserve it. With that, they turn away. Hannah lingers, leaning close. Her voice drops to a cruel whisper. Hannah, mocking, you should have never been born. And then, she's gone, leaving YN alone in the mess. The flour coats her hands. The air is thick with silence. She doesn't cry, she doesn't break. Instead, she slowly kneels, feeling for the broken pieces. A grand, luxurious office dimly lit, lined with shelves of old books, a large mahogany desk in the center. The air is tense and heavy. Jungkook, 27 years old, sits in his chair, his jaw clenched, eyes sharp as he watches the older man in front of him. His father, the Mafia king, stands tall, exuding power and authority. A man who has ruled for decades. A man who expects obedience. Tonight, he's here for one reason. Mr. Jeon, firm, unwavering, it's time for you to get married, Jungkook. Jungkook. No, Mr. Jeon, it's not a request. Jungkook, of course it's not. And tell me, what exactly do I gain from this? What's the use? His father's eyes narrow. Mr. Jeon, you gain stability. A leader without a strong foundation is weak. And a wife. Jungkook, interrupting, annoyed, will not change a damn thing. His father glares. But Jungkook isn't done. I don't need a wife. I don't need some arranged, loveless marriage to keep my position intact. His father steps closer, voice dropping to something dangerous. Mr. Jeon, if you think that, then you are a fool. Jungkook's jaw tightens. Mr. Jeon, firm, you think ruling the Mafia is just about strength? Power? No, it's about legacy. It's about ensuring our bloodline remains untouchable. Jungkook laughs dryly. Jungkook, mocking, oh, so now it's about bloodline. I thought it was about who was ruthless enough to sit on that throne. Mr. Jeon, you cannot rule alone. A man without a family has nothing to lose. And a man with nothing to lose is reckless. Unstable. Jungkook, I have my men. I have control. I don't need a wife to prove anything. His father exhales sharply, losing patience. Mr. Jeon, voice cold as steel, then listen carefully, son. If you refuse to marry, he steps even closer, his presence looming. You are no longer eligible to take my place. Jungkook, you'd really strip me of my position over this. Mr. Jeon, calm, final, without a wife, you are not fit to rule. Silence. Jungkook, okay fine. Mr. Jeon, good, I will arrange it. He turns, walking toward the door. But before he leaves, he pauses. Without looking back, he delivers his final words. Mr. Jeon, soft, chilling, and Jungkook, don't make the mistake of thinking you can defy me. And then he walks out. Mr. Jeon, Jungkook's father, sits on the worn-out couch, his posture rigid, his expression unreadable. He is dressed in an impeccable black suit, a stark contrast to the dull surroundings. His mere presence makes the room feel smaller, suffocating. Across from him, In's adopted parents sit, nervous yet trying to appear composed. Hannah, 18, sits beside them, arms crossed, an expression of clear displeasure on her face. Mr. Jeon, calm, direct, I came with a proposal. I want your daughter to marry my son, Jungkook. Hannah's head snaps up, eyes widening in pure shock. Her parents exchange hesitant glances. A moment of stunned silence. Then, Hannah, scoffing, disgusted, are you joking? Mr. Jeon slowly turns his head toward her, his sharp gaze pinning her in place. Mr. Jeon, low, unwavering, I don't joke about business, or marriage. Hannah, angry, firm, then let me make this clear, I'm not interested. Her parents tense. I know who your son is. A ruthless, heartless man who kills without blinking. Everyone fears him. Why would I marry someone like that? Mr. Jeon's expression doesn't change. He studies her for a moment before speaking. Mr. Jeon, quiet, amused, so, you fear him? Hannah, of course I do, everyone does. Mr. Jeon, good, then you are not the right woman for him. Hannah looks away, relieved. Her parents relax, thinking the conversation is over. But then Mr. Jeon's gaze shifts. It lands on YN. She is sitting in the farthest corner, quiet and still. She doesn't react, doesn't even turn her head, but Mr. Jaeon notices her. Something in his expression changes. A flicker of calculation. He leans forward, his voice calm yet deliberate. Mr. Jaeon, then what about her? Mrs. Lee. Shocked, scoffing, YN. Are you serious? Mr. Jaeon doesn't blink. Mrs. Lee laughing bitterly, she is blind. She is useless. What would your son do with someone like her? YN flinches, just slightly. But she says nothing. Mr. Jaeon, that's not for you to decide. Mr. Lee. Sir, with all due respect, why would you want her? Mrs. Lee. Desperate, exasperated, she can't even see. She can't help your son in anything. She will be a burden to him, just like she is to us. Mr. Jaeon, you speak so cruelly about your own daughter. Her parents say nothing. Mr. Jaeon shakes his head. Let me make this clear. I do not care if she is blind. She will be my daughter-in-law. Hannah's mouth drop opens. Mr. Lee, so this is a mistake. Jungkook will not accept this. He will never. Mr. Jaeon, I know my son better than you. The room is grand, decorated in shades of gold and ivory, yet it feels suffocating. A mirror stands tall, reflecting the image of a bride YN. Dressed in an exquisite wedding gown, her fingers tremble slightly as she adjusts the veil. Her blind eyes, though unseeing, hold a quiet strength. The door clicks open. A familiar voice, dripping with venom, cuts through the silence. Hannah, mocking, amused. Well. The blind bride all dressed up. YN doesn't react immediately. She recognizes that tone. Hannah. Smirking, taunting. At least now, we can finally stay in peace. YN's hands tighten into fists over her gown. You have no idea how tired we were. Having you in that house. It was exhausting, you know. All these years, you tried so hard, didn't you? Cooking, cleaning, pretending to be useful, but no matter what you did, you were still a burden. Silence. Hannah. But now, you're someone else's problem. You must be scared, right? I mean, it's JEONJUNKOOK. YN flinches. Hannah notices. God, you must be terrified. Didn't you hear the rumor? He's a monster. A psycho. People beg for their lives in front of him. And you're nothing but a weak, useless, blind girl. YN. Then let's see. Let's see if the monster breaks me first, or if I survive him like I survived you. Silence. Hannah's smirk drops. For the first time her taunts fail. YN remains still, unshaken. With an irritated scoff, Hannah steps and goes out. Wedding hall, evening. The grand hall is silent, filled with an air of anticipation. Soft golden lights cast a warm glow over the extravagant decor. Guests watch in quiet admiration. At the end of the aisle, dressed in an elegant black suit, stands JEONJUNKOOK. His face is unreadable, cold his usual mask. But then the doors slowly open. A hush falls over the hall. And Jungkook's breath catches. His pav. There she is. Dressed in white, delicate as a dream, YN walks forward. Her steps are slow, guided by the man beside her, her adoptive father. Her blind eyes, though unseeing, hold a quiet grace. Jungkook had expected nothing, but this is breathtaking. For a second, just a second, his heart forgets to beat. She is more beautiful than he could have ever imagined. More than words could ever describe. His fingers twitch, a foreign emotion spreading through his chest. His father had called her beautiful. But he hadn't been prepared for this. Groom's side. The Mafia men watch curiously, exchanging glances. They've never seen their ruthless leader like this. So still. So captivated. Jungkook doesn't realize he's staring. Doesn't realize the way his jaw tightens, the way his breath grows uneven. She reaches him. Her father stops, places her hand in his. Her fingers are small, trembling slightly. Jungkook's hand instinctively tightens around hers. He flinches just a little. And then he speaks. Jungkook. Soft, almost breathless. You're beautiful. YN's head lifts. She wasn't expecting that. She wasn't expecting kindness. She doesn't reply. But Jungkook sees the way her lips part slightly, the way her grip in his hand stiffens like she doesn't believe it. Like no one's ever told her that before. Something twists in his chest. But the moment is short-lived. The officiant clears his throat, and the ceremony begins. Officiant, JEONJUNKOOK, do you take YN to be your lawfully wedded wife? Jungkook, I do. Officiant, and do you, YN, take JEONJUNKOOK to be your lawfully wedded husband? YN, I do. The rings are exchanged. The vows are spoken, and just like that they are bound together. The officiant smiles. Officiant, you may now kiss the bride. A hush falls. Jungkook's throat tightens. His father watches from the front row, expectant. YN stands still, waiting. She doesn't tremble, doesn't shrink. Jungkook takes a slow breath. Then he leans in. BBUT at the last second he stops. His lips barely graze her forehead instead. A silent vow only he understands. When he pulls back, their hands are still linked. The guests applaud, but all Jungkook can hear is the rapid beating of his own heart.